I'd like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting for April 24th, 2019. Roll call.
President Zipfel.
Here.
Vice President Hughes.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
I would like to ask Corporal Steve Cameron to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. Corporal, all you have to do is start, and we'll all follow in right behind you. For those of you who are with us and watching, you will learn in a few minutes why we asked the corporal to do the pledge in just a few minutes. So before that, we have a couple of housekeeping items. Is there a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Rogers, second by Commissioner Thomas. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we can move forward with tonight's agenda. Consent items. Is there a motion to move the consent items into the record? Motion by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Andrus. Those items include the Board of Commissioners' regular meeting minutes of March 27, the Board of Commissioners' workshop meeting minutes of April 10, the Treasurer's report for the month of March, and the bills payable, paid bills in the amount of $101,601.75, and unpaid bills in the amount of $269,912.36. With that, I'll call the question. All in favor of moving those items into the record, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we can move those into the record. Okay, citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments on agenda items only? Great. Then we get to move right into our retirement ceremony, our special event for the evening for Corporal Steve Cameron. Chief, I'd ask if you would take us, lead us, and we'll move on from there. I can join you.
Evening to everybody. We do have a special couple guests here tonight. We have retired Lieutenant Rob Turner, retired Sergeant Ed Tarter. I'm sorry I have to mention Hanrahan's name again. Retired Corporal Pat Hanrahan, retired Officer Dave Bush are here for the festivities. So, with that, I'm going to turn it over to President Zipfel for now.
So tonight's a great night. We've had a number of these, as some of the other retirees are here, and we respect them and honor them enough to know that we're thrilled when they come back into the building, and we want to thank them for their years. But tonight is about Corporal Steve Cameron, and so I know that we have a number of different people who want to speak tonight. I promise none of them are going to roast you, although we did have that discussion in the back. Oh, okay. Yep, sure. Steve, why don't you come up, and I believe your wife Nancy is with us. Why don't you come straight up, and what we're going to do is I'm going to read a proclamation first, and then we'll joke around about Chief. And so our proclamation for you, which is dated April 24th, states as follows. Whereas the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners desire to recognize Steve Cameron, and whereas Steve Cameron was hired on April 18th, 1994 as a patrol officer, and whereas Steve Cameron was promoted to the rank of OIC in 2012, and whereas Steve Cameron was promoted to the rank of corporal in 2013, and whereas Steve Cameron has served as a fireman's instructor and armorer, taser instructor, school resource officer, and rapid response coordinator, and whereas Steve Cameron has also served as a field training officer, member of the Montgomery Drug Task Force, North Penn Tactical Response Team, and whereas Steve Cameron has served the community of Hatfield Township for 25 years. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed in accordance with the foregoing that the Board of Commissioners of Hatfield Township does hereby endorse this proclamation as recognition to Steve Cameron for his commitment and dedication to Hatfield Township, proclaimed and presented this 24th day of April 2019. Congratulations on behalf of the entire board, and thank you on behalf of the entire township. So many of you have been at events where we've sworn in officers, and some have retired. And so each time I like to do my best to make it somewhat unique. And I'll let allow Chief and some of the others speak, Steve, to maybe tease you and comment on you. But tonight, I haven't met her before, but I wanted to thank Nancy. And so Nancy, the folks that are here are a little bit closer to Steve and the work that he's done. But on behalf of the entire township and the board, I'd like to thank you for a few things. First is, I want to thank you for all the nights and days that he was here protecting us when you would rather have had him at home.
That's not true.
I'd like to thank you for the 12-hour shifts where he worked, and when he was gone, you wished he was there, and then when he came home, he was probably so tired and spent that maybe he wasn't entirely there. And most of all, what I'd like to do is to thank you for all the days and nights that there was concern or worry for his safety when he spent 25 years worrying about ours. So on behalf of Hatfield Township, thank you very much.
All right.
I forgot, this is the special part. I get to give Steve his retirement corporal badge, number 31, and again, congratulations. Oh, that's right. Our state representative, new state representative, Steve Malagari is here. Steve, I think you have a proclamation or some words. Come right up. We appreciate your coming out tonight.
Okay. Mr. President, thank you so much. Chief Tierney, Corporal Cameron, Nancy, the rest of the commissioners and the staff, general public, all the officers present. Great to see everybody, some of the retirees as well that I know. This is fantastic. So we're here to honor Corporal Steve Cameron with his retirement, 25 years of service. A lot of things were mentioned, obviously, within the proclamation that was given by President Zipfel, but I wanted to read what we have from the House of Representatives. This is on behalf of myself and Representative Wendy Ullman, whom I believe you live in her district. And and on behalf of Speaker Turzai and the Chief Clerk, Dave Redcliffe. So whereas Corporal Stephen G. Cameron is being honored upon his retirement after 25 years of dedicated and distinguished service to the Hatfield Township Police Department, and whereas a graduate of Bucks County Community College, Corporal Cameron earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Temple University in 1990 and completed the Pennsylvania Municipal Police Officers Training Program at Montgomery County Community College in 1992. He joined the Hatfield Township Police Department on April 18, 1994, and served as a school resource officer and rapid response coordinator, field training officer, taser instructor, firearms instructor, armor, and member of the Montgomery County Drug Task Force. Corporal Cameron joined the North Penn Tactical Response Team in 1998 and was promoted in 2004 to assistant team leader and in 2007 to team leader. He served the department as officer in charge from 2012 until his 2015 promotion to corporal, the position from which he is retiring. Additionally, Corporal Cameron is a member of the National Tactical Officers Association and the International Counterterrorism Officers Association. He faithfully displayed great loyalty, commitment, and professionalism in the performance of his duties as a member of the Hatfield Township Police Department since his enlistment. Corporal Cameron served with consummate skill, upheld the laws of this Commonwealth, and served as a role model for all who aspire to a career in law enforcement. Now, therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania pays a respectful tribute to Corporal Stephen G. Cameron upon his richly deserved retirement, notes with pride and gratitude his record of service, which far exceeds those standards normally ascribed as exemplary, offers best wishes for every future success and happiness, and it directs that a copy of this citation, sponsored by myself and Representative Wendy Ullman on April 11, 2019, be transmitted to Corporal Cameron very shortly at 420, and his address is listed in Doylestown. So wonderful. So I just wanted to say congratulations. I'm really proud to give you this citation from the House. and wanted to present it to you and Nancy. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And best wishes in your retirement. Enjoy it.
much.
And happy to be here to do this.
Appreciate
Thank you, and I appreciate it.
I'd actually like to have Detective Sergeant Hoffner and I think Officer Anthony Baker come up from the Police Benevolent Association for a presentation.
Thank you, Chief. I'm actually standing in for our current PBA president, Dan Butler, as a past president of our organization, and we have a presentation to make for Steve. Steve, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve with you at the police department, also to serve on the North Penn Tactical Response Team. But on behalf of the PBA, you're also a very committed member. You volunteered at many of our community outreach events. You were involved way back at Santa's Visit when we used to do the traveling road show with Santa Claus. And you're very instrumental in the Junior Police Academy throughout the years. You also donate your time at Halloween, giving out trick-or-treat candy to the kids in the community. So on behalf of the PBA, we have this shadow box with your badges, your assorted patches, and collar pins that you wore through the years. Thank you.
Like company. We actually had a luncheon earlier today, and I think about 99% of the police department was there, so the few people who are here are not indicative of the support that Steve has throughout the department, in case anyone was wondering. So I took some time to write some notes, and my first line is, so another good guy goes off into the sunset, and that is true. A lot of people have left, notwithstanding Pat being one of the good guys, but a lot of good guys have left the department. And in turn, we've hired a lot of good people too, but it's amazing the turnover that has happened on the department and how quickly it's coming at us. Steve has been such an integral part of Hatfield and this department. Steve focused on tactics early on in his career, long before the rest of us even knew about tactics. And I remember saying to Steve, "Who are you?" Like, "I have a badge and a gun. I'm the police. Like, get out of my way." I quickly learned, and I think the rest of the department quickly learned, that we had many things to learn, and Steve was the guy to teach us. Steve pushed for tactics to become a part of our training, and we're all better because of that. He led the way down the path for our school rapid response plan, which I think most of us as parents and just citizens understand the safety in our schools is paramount. That has now grown into business security assessments. Steve is passing that baton along to Officer Scott Nowetner, who is taking up that, and we do a lot of assessments of local business. So the job has really grown from the seeds that he planted. Steve has been one who always kept his nose to the grindstone. Steve was proud, diligent, dependable, and I can tell you, I was talking to Sergeant Hoffner the other day, and the first word he blurted out about Steve Cameron was dependable, which is why it's on my list. He's caring and he's personable. He is the consummate professional. And I always thought of Steve as a gentleman policeman. So I appreciate that, Steve. And I'll give you an example. When we used to work together on the street, I would tell Steve, we'd be knocking on a door, and I would tell the people, if you don't open the door, I'm going to come through the wall. And by the time I got done ranting, Steve was inside having a cup of coffee because he endeared himself to the homeowner. We just had different ways of handling things. Steve's usually worked out okay, but again, he was a gentleman all the way through and through. I don't ever remember Steve having a crossword for anyone, inside or outside of the department. He was always the voice of reason. He had a calming effect on everyone around him. He was always very close to the vest when it came to his personal life. Even though we know Nancy, I just found out tonight that he has a sister. Who knew? So, welcome. I knew he had a brother. I never knew he had a sister. One of the rare people who could compartmentalize work and home, which could be especially difficult in police work. Steve is a low-key guy. Today is Steve's last day, and we packed all of his goodbyes into one day, unlike Hanrahan, who probably still has a goodbye waiting for him somewhere. One of Steve's best traits to me is this guy was a funny guy. I know he doesn't look it. He's clean cut, sharp, good-looking guy. He is funny as funny could be. He was like the straight man to all the comedians around him, which got him even more laughs. And I can promise you, he got us through many a trying time and many a boring night shift. The faces in the back are changing, many new officers. If your career can even be close to Steve's, you will be a success. I know 25 years of my career were much better because of you. I hope we gave you what you wanted, Steve, although you deserve so much more. Congratulations, my friend. Oh, we have something for you, too. Sorry, I almost forgot you. Another plaque. I'll hold that. Orange from when he was young up to what he is now with the tax. Come up.
Congratulations. Enjoy your retirement.
Congratulations. Thanks for everything.
I don't know, I'd like to give it a shot.
Take it.
Yeah, take it.
I guess you can't drink it. Maybe get
He's
fired.
actually professional.
You see what it does?
We have so much booze in my office.
You suckers hurt.
Absolutely. I'll email it to you. I'll email it to you. I'll email you that if you want it. The pictures.
You guys are both on
Oh, sorry.
fire. He needs you. Turn around.
I thought he meant you.
They have precincts, and in the precincts, there's a manager. Take care of the people. We talk about that all the time. Throw everything else out the door. This is about people.
Time ago, I don't remember.
Just the balloon.
That's nice of you.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'll be forgotten, too. All right, the fun part is over, and that's when our room starts to clear out, although we beg people to stick around as long as possible. We do have another special item, which is great. As I mentioned earlier, State Representative Steve Malagari is here. He represents the 53rd District, which is our area, and he is here to give us an update for goings-on in our area in Harrisburg. And Representative, thank you very much for taking the time to come out tonight, and the podium is yours.
Thank you again, Mr. President. Really do appreciate the time. Thank you to everybody who's here, all the members of the public, thank you. Just wanted to give a quick update. I know how it is. Trust me, coming from Borough Council to this, I understand completely. And definitely the amazing times when you have retirements or with new officer swearing in ceremonies or any kind of like staff milestones. The room usually fills up huge and then quickly dissipates. It's amazing how that happens. So in any case, I want to give you an update on what's going on in Harrisburg a little bit. It's been a little bit since we were sworn in. All of us are sworn in January, and the first couple months on the job has been very busy, actually. Getting to learn the new members of the district from the different townships to all the different police departments and larger community groups. I was happy to be able to come here and have a ride along with the chief and meet with Aaron and have a good time talking with some of the members of the staff here. So I look forward to the next time I come back when we can actually have a larger conversation with members of the commission as well and the commissioners. So a couple things I wanted to go through. Our office is located in Lansdale, if you don't know that. You may have received a newsletter saying where it's at. We tried really hard to stay in the space that Representative Godshaw had before, and unfortunately we all knew how much work was needed in that building. And I'm really happy to see the new purpose for it with the Historical Society. So I'm really happy that both the borough and the township were able to come together for that. So thank you very much for making that happen. So a couple things I wanted to mention. So I've been appointed to 3 committees. Those 3 committees are Aging and Older Adult Services, Liquor Control, and Local Government. So I'll give you a little bit of rundown on what's happening with the Aging Committee, Liquor Control Committee, and also Local Government Committees right now. So on Aging and Older Adult Services, so basically what we're doing is we're working on legislation that basically impacts all of seniors and works with the Department of Aging as well. So I've been meeting with organizations and senior homes in the district to find out more about what affects seniors in this area, to learn about it. And I've also recently put support behind Generations of Indian Valley. We held our first senior breakfast and also look forward to doing more to protect our local seniors as well. And it's an important thing that we understand. And in Harrisburg, the fight is happening to expand Medicaid funding in the budget. And that will be coming up in June when those budget discussions really do start to really heavily occur. But every interest group has already been in to say, hey, we need more Medicaid expansion funding. And especially when we talk about some of the ideas within the budget that the governor has put forward, it's important that we understand that Medicaid is an important thing for a lot of our seniors, especially that are within this area. For liquor control, so what does that mean? Well, liquor control deals with the liquor code. That's exactly what that is, and the PLCB. So I literally just got back from a policy hearing in Pittsburgh today, which discussed brewery taxation. So really what we were talking about in that was, right now, anybody who brews, if it's a brewery or distillery or a winery, the taxes for a brewery in this case are not necessarily paid by the brewery. So when they open up their actual brew pub, when you're selling, there's no taxes being taken from that. So unlike the larger breweries where you would go through a wholesale network, taxes are taken at the wholesale level. So we were talking whether or not this should actually happen with our local small breweries right now. So that was a larger discussion, and it was actually a really good discussion. We had a full room of individuals, and it was held at Spoonwood Brewing right outside of Pittsburgh in the city. And that was an amazing experience to be able to partake in that discussion and learn a little bit more about what's going on with that particular aspect. And it hits us home here, especially realizing we have breweries within the district. in Hatfield as well, we have a distillery and a brewery. So it does have a direct impact on what that decision becomes, and if it does become law, and if and when, what is supposed to happen. And really what we're talking about is this is supposed to take effect July 1st, where they would actually be taking tax off the pint. And that was what the argument was against, is that taxation on the pint when the rest of the industry doesn't have that. So there are more to come on that. I know our committee is talking about that, and it's an important discussion across the board because we want to make sure that we foster new business and entrepreneurialism and manufacturing spirit, but also we need to see where it's going to be fair for the rest of the players in the market as well. So that, in addition to that, my background is in beer sales. That's where I came from. So this particular committee is of interest to me because of that. And also I wanted to make sure that everybody understands that the area of interest to me in this area, there's a large proliferation of these things, breweries, distilleries within our own region. So this is a big economic impact that we have. And we want to see it continue to grow and continue to spur that downtown investment, downtown revitalization efforts, the local revitalization efforts. In local government, here we are. So basically what we're doing is reviewing legislation there that affects boroughs, cities, and of course townships. So I've met with each township and borough manager so far within the district. And really what I'm trying to do is get a feel for what it is that you want from me. How can I help you? How can I advocate for Hatfield in Harrisburg? What can I do grant-wise? What can I do legislatively? How can we make it easier for the townships and boroughs that are within the district to do business? And that's where I will be coming back and asking for larger questions of what is it on the day-to-day? Because I have ideas on a borough level. On the township level, though, and I know Aaron and I have spoken about this before, but what is it that you would like to see change through the Township Association, through the Municipal Managers Association, through the Borough Association? What is it legislatively that we can try and put forward to make some good change happen to make business easier for the township and also for the residents and taxpayers? So that's one of the things I wanted to bring forward as well. So, and lastly, I don't want to belabor anything of what we're doing on the committees, but you'll start to hear more and more coming out of the other committees as well. We've had a lot of talk on judiciary, we've had some talk on finance, a lot from appropriations, and that's all that budget talk that's going to be coming up very soon. But in the district office, which is the most important thing that we have here, so I wanted to tell, we've already handled hundreds of constituent requests. Our office, I told you where that's at on Main Street in Lansdale, 100 West Main. It's in Suite 110, right next to the National Guard recruiting station, right there across from the train station. My team is dedicated. We're a dedicated group of individuals that work really hard every day to make sure that we hear the needs of our constituents, hear the needs of our business owners, hear the needs of everybody that lives and interacts within the district. So we want to make sure that we're there, we're accessible, make sure that you all know that you can always come in anytime. Give me a call. Aaron has my number. You can ask him for it. He'll give it to you. And also, we'll be having a presence in this building once a month as well. Starting in May 10th, we'll actually have office hours here in Hatfield. So that way, we still do have a presence, and the state services that individuals rely on will be able to be received here as well. A couple things that we do, SEPTA passes for the seniors. If you're 65 or older and you don't have your SEPTA pass yet, come on in, we'll get you one. So that way you can ride SEPTA for free. That's a good perk that SEPTA has been able to put forward to our senior population. In addition to that, other lower income type of programs too, such as lower income heating assistance or property rent rebate programs and property tax rebate programs. If you have any suggestions for me though, by all means let me know. I'm all ears. I'm always open to have discussion and hear some new suggestions. And we just want to be as accessible as possible. So with that, I'll entertain any questions you may have, anything at all.
Any questions from any of the residents?
So 100 West Main Street. It is the old Century Plaza building, the large one right in the center of Lansdale, directly across from the train station.
So, you know our township manager's from Pittsburgh, and I noticed you mentioned Pittsburgh in your speech. Was that part of the agreement to get on the agenda? You had to mention Pittsburgh?
Slightly. He knew my travel plans were coming from Pittsburgh.
Collusion.
It's amazing the similarities between these communities when you talk about economic revitalization. Pittsburgh being a larger city, it has neighborhoods revitalizing itself and reinventing itself. You know, it used to be still is a rather industrial area and a big industrial hub for that part of our state. We have whole towns and neighborhoods in our larger city in Philadelphia reinventing itself as well through economic revitalization efforts. And these are the big things that we should all be proud of and be happy to work with and work toward. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and I look forward to coming back again to give you a more in-depth update about what's going on in Harrisburg after the budget. And until then, I thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Yes, Representative, thank you for taking your time to come out and speak with us tonight, and we're looking forward to having you back. Thanks. All right, we have a few action items on the agenda to round out the meeting. First is a motion to award a bid to Alan Myers in the amount of $330,190.15 with regard to the 2019 road paving program. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrews, second by Commissioner Rogers. Aaron, is this what you have a slideshow for?
Sure, if you would like, Mr. President.
I suspected you had one, yes.
To recap our discussion from last week, it's now more relevant now that the bids are in, just so you can see the big number there. We budgeted, the township budget for 2019, $870,000 for this year for improving the paving and as well as updating the accessibility ramps throughout the township. And the good news when you look at the agenda is that the overall item for both of those is significantly under. So we're in a position where staff's still kicking around the idea of possibly paving some more roads, possibly having the contractor Myers pave different sections that were slated to be paved by township employees, such as some trails and some other items. So we're considering those items given the flexibility of the cost, but good news all around in the price. And just as a reminder of where this road work is being done, I know Mr. Representative will like to see that Line Street's being paved both in Lansdale and in Hatfield. And we're still working things out with Lansdale Borough as far as whether or not we could use the same contractor. It is not the low bidder the township has, so we're trying to see if we can work our way through that to make sure that that can be all done simultaneously as the pipe is being replaced on Line Street. We're working through those issues, but these are the other roads that are being paved. And just as a reminder, Lenhart cost is being shared with the Sewer Authority because of the replacement of the line that was done in late 18. And Line Street, of course, is being shared evenly with Montgomery Township since it's a shared road, as well as the commissioners know and approve that the costs will be shared, not evenly, but shared with the culvert replacement as well that's happening in Line Street. Now, quickly, this is an illustration of where the paving will take place in 19. These are the two red dots are where the 68 ramps will be replaced in preparation for the 2020 road program. So we're trying to work our way ahead with the ramps so then we could pave those roads next year. These are the specific locations of where the 68 ramps will be done. Quick recap of the years. I know we did it a few weeks ago, but I think it's important to show the residents and the community how much investment the commissioners have made in paving and improving the infrastructure in Hatfield. So this was the 18 program in purple. Again, the red line is the municipal boundary. Yellow, 17, 16 in red, 15 in shade of blue, 14. We're running out of colors. We've paved so many roads, 12 blue, and then just a quick look back over the 10-year period. A significant amount of roads have been paved. Please remember too, commissioners know, but the public, Orvilla, Cowpath, both state roads, Unionville, a county road. So the two major roads that go through the township aren't owned by the town. So keep that in mind. And commissioners, again, we're very lucky for the prices that come in well under budgeted.
All right, anything else?
The only thing I'd mention is items 1 and 2, same information. So if you want to move through those two before we eat the others, that would make sense.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of the motion to award to Alan Myers in the amount stated in the agenda, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Next is the accessible bid, the accessible ramps bid. Is there a motion to award the bid to NJS Concrete in the amount of $301,119.64? By Commissioner Rogers, second by Commissioner Andrus. I think everyone heard that our township managers say it's a similar scenario. It's just a slightly different, it's a different bid, but same information. So I'll ask the question. Any other questions or comments from commissioners or residents? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Action item number 3. Is there a motion for approval with regard to the Aquatic Center purchase of heaters as budgeted in the amount of $45,831.60? Motion by Commissioner Andrews, second by Commissioner Rogers. Aaron, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a housekeeping item that is a best practice, given the value of it for us to identify, to vote on, even though it was already included in this year.
Correct. Items 3 and 4, just another level of transparency so the taxpayers can see where the tax dollars are being spent, all budgeted, all needed improvements for facility that's now 14 years old. So both of these items had a pretty good life on them, and both needed replaced to keep our award-winning facility up and running.
Great. All right. Questions, comments from residents or commissioners? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Action item number 4. Is there a motion for approval of the Aquatic Center shade structure replacement as budgeted in the amount of $31,500?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrews, second by Commissioner Rogers. Similar discussion, so I'll ask if there's any commissioners or residents that have any questions or comments. Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Last action item for tonight. Is there a motion for approval with regard to the Code Department vehicle purchased as budgeted in the amount of $22,527? Motion by Commissioner Andrews, second by Commissioner Rogers. Aaron, again, you can correct me, but this was previously included in our budget, and when we have an item like this for transparency reasons, as you described, best practices, we vote on it individually.
That is correct, Mr. President. The only thing I would add is the happiest man in the room is probably John Wolf in the back, because he can actually fit in this vehicle. The township is selling a much smaller compact sedan that lived its life and met the end of its useful life, I should say, and it's being sold on municipal bid, if anybody's interested, and has been replaced by an SUV, which has come in under budget at $25,000 that we budgeted. So,
Ashley's going to be trying to pack all the Park and Rec stuff from Music Feast and Rocktoberfest into that small car. It will be a blessing.
you have to be under 4'6" to drive that truck. It's hard to find those employees.
All right, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments on non-agenda items?
One little thing that I would like to recognize someone. Now, granted, I've been carrying this newspaper around for 3 months, but on January 26th, Joanne Kissing's picture was put in the paper, and this was regarding a quilt of valor. So she was presenting to Grace Bergman, who was a Hatfield resident. Grace is 103 years old. She is the oldest living female Marine in Pennsylvania and the second oldest in the U.S. And Joanne's quilting group presented Grace with this beautiful quilt of valor. So I just wanted to recognize Joanne for making the front page.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. That's great.
Joanne?
Okay, yep. Nancy McCormick.
Joanne, weren't you knitting that at one of our meetings a few months ago? Yeah, yeah, we've seen that.
Great.
Right place at the right time,
Yep.
Joanne.
Joanne, thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right, two quick announcements. One, for those of you who did not hear about it, DARA, the organization DARA, Drug Addiction Resource Alliance, which Judge Andrea Duffy has been very involved in over many years, is having a meeting on May 2nd, Thursday, May 2nd at 2019 at 6 p.m. at the North Montco Technical Career Center. And that's at 1265 Sumney Town Pike in Lansdale. It's right by the high school, right?
Right behind it.
And Joanne's being nice enough to hold up the big sign so that I can't miss any of the information. It says DARA Addiction Forum, May 2nd, 6 p.m., North Montco Technical Center. And she's gonna put a sign up just out in the front. That'd be great. Was. Like I said, it's a great organization. They've had some very full meetings with a lot of people, a lot of energy, which is great. What's happened with opioid addiction is a travesty, and this is an organization that couldn't. It's a perfect time for it to be around. Sad that they have to be an organization, but they're great people that do great work. So thank you for being a part of that and telling us about it.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. One other note, a little bit of sad news. Many of you probably know Kamlesh Patel. His father passed away just yesterday. The funeral was today. Kamlesh has been very helpful to the township in a number of different ways, and the members of the BAPS Temple have been a great community in Hatfield. His father, Chunibai Patel, passed away yesterday, and very sad. Our thoughts and prayers are with the entire family. For those of you who know Kamlesh, he's got an infectious smile, and he just is a fantastic person in our community. So we wish him and his family the best. All right, any other comments, questions, residents or otherwise? All right, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Thomas to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Andrus. I wasn't sure we were going to get it.
We'll be here all night.
I know. All right. With that, I'll call the question. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we adjourn. Thanks for coming out, folks.